Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranja Jajanaranja Chamuratira Vanachari Chamuratira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Girivaradari Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranja Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranja Chamuratira Vanachari Chamuratira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Girivaradari Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranja Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranja Chamuratira Vanachari Chamuratira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Bhajajanaranja Chamuratira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Aura Premadandi Hari Hari Bo Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Radhagataya Nasto Sati Divine Loving Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koda Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shravidas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Shri Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Katadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dhama Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai Ganga Chimura Mai Ki Jai Tulosi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtana Ki Jai Nitya Gaura Preyamanande Haribo all glories to some devotees all glories to some devotees all glories to some devotees all glories to Shri Guru Shri Gauranga all glories to Srila Prabhupada. I guess the Bhagavatam's under here. Treasure box. Jai Shri Radha Govinda Ki Jai. Stupendous garland. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, you are reading from Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 9, entitled Dhruva Maharaj Returns Home. Unless I'm mistaken, we're reading text 11. Huh?
Yes.
11, okay. Bhaktim moho pavahatam tvayame prashango Bhuyadananta mahatam amalakshayanam Yenan jashobanam uruvayashanam bhavaptim Nashebavad guna katambrita bhanamataha Bhaktim moho pavahatam tvayame prashango Bhuyat ananta mahatam amalakshayanam Yenam jashobanam uruvayashanam bhavaptim Nashebavad guna katambrita phanamataha mataha Bhaktim moho pavahatam tvayime prashango Bhuyat ananta mahatam amalakshayanam Yenanta shobanam urivayashanam bhavaptim Nashebavad guna katamrita panamata Bhaktim moho pavatam tvayame go Bhuyadananta mahatam amalasayanam Yenam jashobanam uruvayashanam bhavaptim Nashebavad gunakatamritapanamata Bhaktim moho pavatam tvayame prasango Nanta Mahatam Amalayasya Yanam Ye Nanda Shobhanam Uri Vyasanam Bhavaptim Nashe Bhavat Gunakatam Mitapanamata Bhaktim Moho Bhavatam Tayame Pasango Bhuyadananda Mahatam Amalakshayanam Yena Shobhanam Uri Vyasanam Bhavaptim Nashe Bhavat Gunakatam Mitapanamata. Okay, word to word and translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhaktim, devotional service. Muhu, constantly. Pravahatam, of those who perform. Twayi, unto you. Me, my. Prasangha, intimate association. Bhuyat, may it become. Ananta, O unlimited. Mahatam, of the great devotees. Amala Asyanam, whose hearts are freed from material contamination. Yena, by which. Anjasa, easily. Utpanam, terrible. Uru, great. Vyashanam, full of dangers. Bhava Abdim, the ocean of material existence. Nasye, I shall cross. Bhavat, your. Guna, transcendental qualities. Kata, pastimes. Amrita, nectar. Eternal. Pana, by drinking. Mataha, mad. So translation. Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly. As the waves of a river constantly flow, such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad, to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent. Perhaps we can repeat together. Nice verse. Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me so that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad, to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent. And purple. The significant point in Dhruva Maharaj's statement is that he wanted the association of pure devotees. Transcendental devotional service cannot be complete and cannot be relishable without the association of devotees. We have therefore established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone who is trying to be aloof from this Krishna conscious society and yet engage in Krishna consciousness is living in a great hallucination. for this is not possible. From this statement by Dhruva Maharaj, it is clear that unless one is associated with devotees, his devotional service does not mature. It does not become distinct from material activities. The Lord says, Satam Prasangam Mama Veya Samvido Bhavanti Kritkana Rasayanaha. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 25. Only in the association of pure devotees can the words of Lord Krishna be fully potent and relishable to the heart and ear. Dhruva Maharaj explicitly wanted the association of devotees. That association in devotional activities is just like the waves of an incessant flowing river. In our Krishna conscious society, we have full engagement 24 hours a day. Every moment of our time is always busily engaged in the service of the Lord. This is called the incessant flow of devotional service. A Mayavadi philosopher may question us. You may be very happy in the association of devotees, but what is your plan for crossing the ocean of material existence? Dhruva Maharaj's answer is that it is not very difficult. He clearly says that this ocean can be crossed very easily if one simply becomes mad to hear the glories of the Lord. Bhavat Guna Kata. For anyone who persistently engages in hearing the topics of the Lord from the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, and who is actually addicted to this process, just as one becomes addicted to intoxicants, it is very easy to cross the nescience of material existence. The ocean of material nescience is compared to a blazing fire, but to a devotee this blazing fire is insignificant because he is completely absorbed in devotional service. Although the material world is blazing fire, to a devotee it appears full of pleasure. Vishram Puna Sukayate. The purport of this statement by Dhruva Maharaj is that devotional service in association of devotees is a cause of the development of further devotional service. By devotional service only is one elevated to the transcendental planet Goloka Bandhavan, and there is only devotional service, for the activities of devotional service both in this world and in the spiritual world are one and the same. Devotional service does not change. The example of a mango can be given here. If one gets an unripe mango, it is still a mango, and when it is ripe, it remains the same mango, but it has become more tasteful and relishable. Similarly, there is devotional service performed according to the direction of the spiritual master and the injunctions of the regulative principles of Sastra, and there is devotional service in the spiritual world rendered directly in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But they are both the same. There is no change. The difference is that one stage is unripe and the other is ripe and more relishable. It is possible to mature in devotional service only in association of devotees. Om Jnanatamarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakshum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Let's read the verse again. Bhaktim moho bhavahatam tayame prashango Puyat ananta mahatam amala sayanam Yena rashobanam urivayashanam bhavaptim Nyashe bhavat guna katam vitapanamataha. Dhruva Maharaj continued, O unlimited Lord, kindly bless me that I may associate with great devotees who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. Such transcendental devotees are completely situated in an uncontaminated state of life. By the process of devotional service, I shall surely be able to cross the nascent ocean of material existence, which is filled with the waves of blazing fire-like dangers. It will be very easy for me, for I am becoming mad, to hear about your transcendental qualities and pastimes, which are eternally existent. Namo Om Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Puchaline Nivasisha Shunyavadi Prashtatar Satarine Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So, beg for your permission to speak a few words on this wonderful verse and also wonderful pastime of Dhruva Maharaj. It's full of so many wonderful instructions. We were studying this pastime a few months ago, and specifically one of the important instructions is, or the lessons from Dhruva Maharaj, which there is many, is his determination. And his determination specifically to follow or to achieve, interestingly, to achieve material benedictions. But specifically his determination in following the orders of his spiritual master, Narada Muni. Yeah. And because he was following the instructions of Narad, and because Narad is so dear to the Lord, then he achieved such a wonderful perfection. In just 6 months, the Lord appeared before him. Yeah. And he's a mixed devotee. Yeah. So in that sense, such is the power of following the instructions of a devotee like Narada Muni, following a pure devotee. Now, Narada Muni is very intelligent. As you know, he's one of the spiritual master of the universes. He has so many wonderful disciples. And he's indirectly bringing Dhruva to perfection. First of all, as we heard in the beginning of this pastime, he tries to advise Dhruva to give up his anger. He's just a young boy. How old is Dhruva? 5. So I was thinking that we have a few examples of young boys reaching perfection. So Dhruva is pastime of Narada Muni himself in his service to the Bhaktivedantas. And then we have Prahlad Maharaj. So Kumara Acharya Pragno. So devotional service can be taken up at any age. Yeah. But here we heard how Dhruva Maharaj, Narada Muni is out of compassion, out of a deep compassion for Dhruva and his plight. He is, one sense, he is tricking him, could we say? Yeah. He's given him a specific sadhana, and that sadhana is very interesting. It consists of chanting mantra, as far as I remember. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, was it? The mantra. So we chant this mantra every day. I've been chanting that mantra for a lot longer than 6 months. And I haven't perfected that mantra. The Lord has not appeared before me. But also along with the mantra, he gave him a sadhana as well. And the example that Prabhupada brings out in the purports for us again is the determination of Dhruva. So determined. Yeah. So actually, and Prabhupada, in his great humility, in one of the purports, I think you would have read, that he says, I'm thinking that if one of my disciples becomes as strong as Dhruva Maharaj, just words to this effect, then he may take me back to Godhead with him. Prabhupada's great humility. Yeah. So many lessons to be learned here from Dhruva Maharaj, and specifically the depth of his absorption in his meditation upon Narayan. Yeah. And we hear to the extent that he went, I forget the actual steps, but eventually he was just taking in air, just air for prasadam. That's it for prasadam, breathing air. And standing with his arms like this. Yeah. And another example is someone who was performing severe austerities in that same regard, but there's a difference. That was Hiranyakashipu, engaging in intense austerity. But he's demonic. He's a demon. Yeah? So his penances were, and he wasn't praying to the Lord. He was petitioning the creator of the universe. Well, he wanted to kill the Lord. So he wasn't petitioning the Lord. He was petitioning Lord Brahma. But again, so determination. So the materialists are determined, and as sometimes we can learn from materialists, how they're very determined, isn't it? Very determined to achieve their material desires. Yeah? Just like this big city of New York. I mean, I live in central London, and New York makes London seem like a small village. It's quite, in one sense, dare I say, it's quite awe-inspiring, the extent of New York, and of course you live in New York for you, but for me, coming from London, it's like, wow, the size of the buildings. So they're pretty determined, very determined to meet, to have a perfect life, isn't it? Very determined to have a perfect life with no anxiety. But does that happen? No way, Jose. No matter how much you try, no matter how much tall the building is, how much arrangements you make materially, for a so-called untroubled existence, most people go through, you could say, existential terror of anxiety and uncertainty. Yeah. So it may all seem okay externally, but you just dig a little bit, and you're going to find a disturbed soul there, very disturbed, because we cannot be happy by any arrangement materially. But again, this determination of the materialist, the determination of a devotee. So as the story unfolds, it's wonderfully explained how then the Lord appeared before Dhruva. Yeah, and Dhruva was in a meditation, a smaran, a deep meditation. And the Lord appeared on the flower, on the lotus of his heart. Yeah. Well, first of all, Dhruva was causing quite a disturbance, wasn't it? He was causing quite a disturbance, and the demigods were getting a bit concerned about the power of his austerity. So then the Lord came and said, "Don't worry, this is my devotee Dhruva." Yeah? So he was in a particular type of smaran, particular type of, you could say, samadhi. So there's different levels of absorption in one's object of meditation. So one of those is samadhi. Yeah, that's where you're not aware even of anything external. Yeah. Even it's described, difficult to conceive, but you're not even aware of yourself meditating upon the object of your meditation. You're so deeply absorbed in that meditation. And there's examples of this in the Bhagavatam. One of interesting example is, what's the name of that sage who Maharaj Parikshit came to when he was touring? Shomaka Rishi. You know, that's in the beginning, he went into the hermitage of Shomaka Rishi. Huh? Samika Rishi, yeah. And unbecoming a pure devotee, unbecoming a devotee of the stature of Maharaj Parikshit, he was feeling hungry and you could say a little bit agitated, you know. So the internal, as we know, as that story unfolds, then we are now 2025 in New York City reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, that was the purpose. But the Lord manipulated the internal kaleidoscope, or the internal nature of his pure devotee's mind, to make him become agitated and to insult Shomaka Rishi. He did the same to Arjuna as well. Arjuna, Sakya Ras, and a very intimate servant, a very intimate friend of Krishna. That type of person doesn't become overwhelmed by the bodily concept of life, but by Krishna's arrangement within the heart. He wanted a pastime, So anyway, back to the point here is that Dhruva, very deep this samadhi. So Shamaka Rishi, he was in this samadhi. Yeah, so Maharaj Parikshit came in, and he's a king. So when a king comes, you give them some type of reception, isn't it? Even if Trump came, would you give him some reception? Guess you have to, no? Give him the VIP treatment, no matter what you might think, VIP treatment. Yeah, so Maharaj Parikshit is used to that. But he went in, and Shamaka Rishi, samadhi. He didn't even know he was in the room. Yeah. So Maharaj Parikshit, he felt insulted. Yeah. So he got a dead snake with his bow thing, and he put it around the neck of Shamaka. Now you're supposed to put garlands around the neck of sadhus. So it's pretty sarcastic, pretty insulting. A dead snake. As we know, the story then unfolds. His son becomes very angry, etc. Yeah. Another example of this level of meditation is Markandeya Rishi. This comes in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And he's amazing how to conceive that. Sometimes you hear devotees' meditation in rapt attention on the lotus feet of the Lord for thousands of years. How is it possible? We can't, it's difficult, even 2 hours, trying to chant one round to fix our mind on the holy name. It's like, mind is going here, and sometimes with constant effort. It's very interesting because in our chanting of the holy name, then we also should be progressing through different levels of absorption in the holy name. Yeah, Pratyahara, different stages. Yeah. And because at the first stage, the mind will be flickering here, trying. Then, for 1 second, we manage to hear the sound, Krishna. Then again, the mind goes, but we keep trying. And then from that effort, so we have to be quite determined. Yeah? So as Dhruva is determined in these austerities in the forest, we should be determined when we sit down for japa. Yeah, to fix our mind on the holy name of the Lord. Yeah. So then if we do that, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, becoming purified, engage constantly in devotional service, as we get there, we describe this, constantly in devotional service, in the association of devotees. Yeah. Then gradually the heart becomes purified by that slight contact. And by that contact we can absorb ourselves more, we can steady the mind and meditate upon the sound. Yeah? And then the more prolonged we can meditate upon the sound, and then ultimately the holy name, Krishna is non-different from his name, form, qualities and pastimes, and that's the whole level of smaran, meditation. One's deeply absorbed. Yeah? So we have a long way to go, we have a lot of practice to do. Yeah? So Markandeya Rishi, he was in this samadhi, but meditated upon the lotus feet of Vishnu for thousands of years. Yeah? Not to show, I think it's not described, the details are not described whether he took some time out for bodily ablutions and maintenance of his body, and he had a beatific sadhana for normally yogis will do their sadhana of meditation for 12 hours a day. Sunrise to sunset, they will be doing meditation. If you read the Journey Home by Radhanath Maharaj, that was his sadhana. From the sunrise to sunset, he would sit on the rock in the middle of the Ganges, and just meditate. And that's a fantastic story, that, isn't it? And the Maha Mantra came down the Ganges, Hare Krishna. Yeah. So, anyway, Markandeya Rishi was absorbed. He was so much absorbed. Again, this point, he wasn't even aware of himself. And then his fame was spreading, so Lord Shiva and Parvati came to take darshan. Came to take darshan of a devotee. That's Lord Shiva. Yeah, come to take darshan, come to have some sangha with this devotee. Yeah, Markandeya Rishi. Markandeya Rishi didn't even know he was there. Didn't even know he was there. So then, we know the story. Shiva, by his mystic potency, went into the heart of Markandeya Rishi and said, "Hello, you have some guests." Then he came out of his samadhi. Yeah. And there's another example, I guess the ultimate example of samadhi that is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam, obviously has to be the residence of Vrindavan. Yeah. And of all the residents of Vrindavan, the highest absorption in Krishna is the gopis, and then we know Radharani, where they never come out of that samadhi. Markandeya Rishi came out, and then was interacting. Shomaka Rishi came out. This samadhi, it's a specific practice. You practice and go in, you come out. But gopis, they never come out of that deep absorption in Krishna, very deeply absorbed in Krishna. Yeah. So, and they become. Even the descriptions of Unmada, where the residents of Vrindavan, especially the gopis, become mad, become Unmada. They don't even know whether Krishna is present or not. It's a whole wonderful description. They're so deeply absorbed in Krishna. That's why Lord Chaitanya honored the gopis as the highest example of devotional service. Yeah, really deeply absorbed. And but this point. This is brought up in this word, in this verse here, today's verse. Whereas the word mad, text 11, isn't it? Yes, so the word mad is there. Mataha, become mad. Pamata nonom parite becama yet India puti api noti. So this is also what materialists become. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all types of simple activities, which is going to cause him further bondage. Mad. Become, when they consider sense gratification the aim of life, they become mad after materialistic living. But also the devotees were encouraged here to become mad. Yeah? For not mad by the influence of the mode of ignorance. That's one of the symptoms in the Bhagavad Gita of the mode of ignorance, isn't it? Madness, indolence and sleep. Yeah? But mad after Krishna. Yeah? It's like Dhruva here. It's mad after pursuit. Become mad to the extent, let's say perhaps mad is quite, it's used here, but you become completely obsessed with Krishna, completely obsessed, yeah, completely obsessed with Krishna, yeah. So in other words, we become completely, completely absorbed in devotional service. How are we to Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Taratyaya Mam Eva Papadyante Mayam Etam? How are we to overcome this material world? How is it possible to overcome the attractions as conditioned souls to this material world? Yeah. There's so many different varieties of sense gratification available. Yeah. How to overcome that? Devi Esha Gunamayi Mama Maya. It's my illusory energy. Very powerful. It's like one of my London stroke America experiences is that, and I'm amazed, you go in American shops, some shop, there's every conceivable taste or sensation in every shop. It's like, is it like that in India? It's not the same, is it? Catching up. But me and Nrsimha was in one shop and we was looking, and we were just like shopping for fruit and things like that. And we saw this one shelf, it was salad dressing. Sorry, a bit mundane, but there must have been 50 varieties of salad dressing. I mean, it's like 50 varieties, like. And that's America, so much sense gratification, so massive stores just to open 24 hours a day. Yeah. So that's what people wake up to. How can I satisfy my senses today? What can I do to stimulate my senses? What type of food? Anyway, so the whole attraction, pumsa syurim matini bhavum tayo mittu hritaya grantim, and also the attraction between male and female, such a powerful force. How to overcome that? Yeah? Can we do it by our own, mentally, by our own endeavor? No, I won't look at that, I won't think of that. It's good, it's a sadhana. It's there in the beginning. We have to inoculate ourselves. That's why we have the 4 regulative principles. Yeah? And we make vows as well. Upon Diksha, initiation, I will not engage in illicit sex, I will not engage in intoxication, I will not engage in gambling, what's the other one? No meat eating, yeah? Why do we make that vow? Because we're conditioned souls and we really want that stuff. So we make a strong samskara, a strong vow. I will not. We make it in, again, important this verse here, we actually make it in association. Why are we making those vows? Because we've had the association of devotees. Like this verse is like Dhruva Maharaj, he's reached perfection. The Lord has appeared before him. He's not praying to go back to Godhead. He's praying for the association of the devotees. Yeah? Specifically because it's because of Narada Muni that he's achieved his perfection. So he's giving all credit to Narada Muni. Please let me have the association of such devotees. So why do we make such vows? Because of the association of devotees. Yeah? That gives us strength, but actually to overcome the attraction of the material energy, we need to engage, again, with the lesson from Dhruva Maharaj, with determination in the devotional service of the Lord. Yeah? Completely absorbed. Yeah? In the temple or at home. Yeah? Somehow or another, dovetail life in such a way that Krishna's there. Yeah? That we're doing some type of devotional service. We're at temple, the same challenges even in the temple, but at home as well. How to keep Krishna in the center. Yeah? That's why it's very important to have a specific type of sadhana, something that we do every day. Because, isn't it, it's interesting, we do a strong sadhana in the morning, 16 rounds or Mangalarti. Then in the day, sometimes we can get splayed out. So then we come back again at the end of the day, and then the next morning we engage in hearing and chanting. Yeah? And that's what's, so in other words, it's just like we do not externally, mentally trying to give up material desires. It's not possible. Yeah? It is possible when we get a higher taste, and that's what's described here. This is, Dhruva Maharaj is, the stage of ruchi here, the stage of ruchi is being described here. Yeah? Who engage in your transcendental loving service constantly, as the waves of a river constantly flow. So that's one of the definitions of a level of absorption, anusmriti, where it's like when you pour honey out of a jar, it just, there isn't any stop, it just flows. Yeah? So the same with an advanced devotee, their meditation of Krishna is like anusmriti. There's no stopping, it's like a constant flow, constant flow. So we may not be in that stage, but we should try and organize it that there's a constant flow of devotional activities. A constant flow of regular association with the devotees of the Lord. Yeah? And then what will happen, it's just like a cup. As we fill up our life with the association of devotees, then we just, as the cup fills, there's at the bottom there's a specific color of water, but if you fill it up, then it gets dispelled. I think you get the idea. You kind of and become complete. And then Shimbatam Swakata Krishna, Punya Swavaketan Hridisto Batrani Vitonoti Saritsatam. Then it's Krishna who will untie the knots of material attachment in our hearts. Yeah? when he sees that we're serving, again, it comes from serving the devotees, those series of verses. It begins with associating with devotees and serving devotees. Then when Krishna sees that, Shimbatam Swakata Krishna Punya Swavakedam Ridasto Bhattarani Vittunoti Saritsatam. Then he unties all the knots, of material attachment. Yeah. I remember when I was first reading Bhagavad Gita, I hadn't met devotees. I got the Bhagavad Gita from a library, as it is. I got Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita from a library. And I was reading it, I was pretty attracted. I thought, wow, this is far out. Couldn't understand everything, but whatever I was reading, I felt something special about this, And I finished Bhagavad Gita, I read The Science of Self-Realization first. Then I got a magazine through the post called Who Are They? And it's a picture, mainly pictures of devotees doing farming and cooking, and I was just attracted to looking at the pictures. And then it said the lifestyle of a devotee. Then it said the regulative principles, and I thought, oh, great. I didn't think there was anyone on the planet who was following those regulative principles. At least in my culture, those who and I was associating with at the time. I thought, okay, this is for some, this is just not realistic, this. I kept on reading, I never thought impossible. How is it possible, And then gradually I went to the whole story, but then I went to the temple and I started to associate with devotees. I started to associate with those who were following this and who were mad, in one sense, for Krishna and absorbed in Krishna. I just started being with them. Yeah? There's one verse actually. This verse is quoted in Bhagavatam, Brihad Bhagavatam Rita, the last part 3. And there's one verse where Sanatana Goswami is, or actually a Sarupa, he achieves perfection just by the physical contact with a great pure devotee. So then in the purport, Sanatana Goswami, in the commentary to that verse, it takes about 2 hours to read that commentary on that one verse, and it's all about the power of the association of devotees. Yeah. And there's one verse which Sanatana Goswami quotes, which describes that even if, just like a drunkard, by a person associating with drunkards, and Prabhupada is paraphrasing it here, he mentions become intoxicated. Yeah, my guess that Prabhupada might have be quoting from that. My guess or speculation. So even if someone doesn't know, or the worst effect, even if one unwillingly has close physical contact with the devotees of the Lord, they will be purified. Yeah. They will be just by their close physical proximity, what to speak of hearing from them. And in that, I think it's 3, if you want to look, part 3, chapter 11, text 7, I think. And Sanatana Goswami quotes this verse here that we're reading today, glorifying the association of devotees. Yeah. So we should understand that if we'll have achieved anything, if we're still here, if we're practicing devotional service, it's only because of the association of devotees. And let me read this sentence again, because this sentence, I'm probably sure a lot of you have heard it. It's often quoted in Vyas Puja offerings. Very powerful here. We have therefore established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Anyone who is trying to be aloof from this Krishna conscious society and yet engage in Krishna consciousness is living in a great hallucination. It is not possible. So, sorry about that. Association with devotees is the cause of our devotion. So Prabhupada says, bhakti is the cause of bhakti. It comes from devotees. And that association is going to become more and more, as we progress in devotional service, we should realize that we need it more. We need more association of devotees. We should be feeling completely dependent upon the association of devotees. Yeah? And one said, how could we possibly come to the right conclusion about the absolute truth? Yeah? Without the association of the devotees, and without their blessings as well, without their well-wishings and without their blessings. How is it possible? Prabhupada says here on this. If you think you can, I say I'm going to live on my own somewhere, I'm going to do my own thing, I'm going to, I've had and do my own thing on it. No, you need association of devotees constantly. Yeah, association of devotees, And I think I was going to, just share as well. I remember again, because I'm based in central London, there's a temple called Soho Street, Shri Radha Landaneshwar, and I was engaged, the first 6 years I was engaged in Sankirtan, book distribution. Now I'm doing teaching and deity worship related services, But I remember one time I was walking down Oxford Street, is one of the busiest streets in central London, and what's everyone doing? Shopping. Shopping is the goal of life, And at least for the materialist, got to shop, got to buy something. And I was thinking, how is it that I haven't succumbed to the material energy? Of course, how is it I haven't? And the thought comes to me, it's only because I'm engaging in devotional service in the association of devotees. Yeah, you should never underestimate the power of the material energy. Yeah, we are very small. The material energy, although we are superior energy, material energy is vast. And the potency to think that there's some enjoyment here is so potent. Especially when you see, like in a city, like you see everyone enjoying materially, Everyone's enjoying, so it's quite, unless you've got the association of devotees, you will think there's something there. That's the power of material energy. It will make you think there's something here. Come, you can enjoy. Look, come, that's the power. No, there is nothing there. You convinced? There is nothing there. There is no, the highest taste you can get in this material world is cleaning, maybe it's just cleaning the pots for Radha Govinda, cleaning the temple room floor, associating with devotees. That's the highest experience you can possibly get if you're in right consciousness, okay? Yeah, there isn't anything out there. It seems like there's something out there. There isn't nothing out there. The only thing in New York is Radha Govinda. That's the only attractive thing in New York, actually. There isn't anything, no matter how it's so hard, they're trying to convince us that there's other things that are attractive. There is nothing is attractive. So especially if we have some taste of Krishna consciousness, some realization, and also some ruchi, then there's nothing for a devotee in the material world. Yeah? But we have to be, we may not be on that platform, so we have to constantly associate with devotees, follow the instructions, follow the teachings of the devotees, just like Dhruva, follow very sincerely the teachings of Narada Muni. That's our only hope, to follow very sincerely and with great determination the instructions of our preceptors, the instructions of Prabhupada, the instructions of our Shiksha Guru and our guides. Otherwise, then we can reach perfection. Otherwise, no hope. Okay, a few words on this verse in purple. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Thank you for the nice class, Prabhuji. So it's very inspiring purport and about association of devotees. So initial years it's like we're enthusiastic that we feel nice to associate with devotees, but then as we become a little older in Krishna consciousness, then we kind of become like familiar to that devotees all the time. We are with devotees, so we don't value devotees so much. In the initial years, we value the association of devotees, but as we, many years pass by, we kind of stop valuing the importance of devotees. So how can we, change that mentality?
Pray. We should value devotees more than when we first joined. The value of devotees, the value of associating devotees should become more, should be increased. To actually prayerful, to be in the association of devotees. Yeah, it shouldn't be less. It should be more. Now, as we progress in Krishna consciousness, then there may be a particular type of, because there's devotees is a big spectrum, So we want to find that specific sangha of devotees where we can get really enlivened from, who share the same type of mood. That's also there as well, and that should come naturally. Different reading groups, different sanghas of devotees get together, and they're relishing certain scriptures, etc., like that. But in essence, your question, when we're feeling, could I use a strong word, a bit of a resentment? If we're using a strong word, if we're feeling some resentment to association of it, we should know we're in danger. We should pray. We should pray, my dear Lord, We should be so thankful for the association of devotees. But we should naturally associate with devotees of like-minded. There's a word for that, I forget what it is. Swajati. Yeah. And Prabhupada says in the Nectar of Instruction, verse 4, there's these 6 exchanges of love, pati paganati, that this whole society is created, or this International Society of Krishna Consciousness is, sometimes it's like that. Devotees become averse to devotees. It's not good. There has to be some internal introspection, Sometimes it might mean you're going to do some more sadhana. It means you just have to turn up the sadhana a bit, turn up the chanting. Alarm bells should go, okay, I need to concentrate more. There's some words, some thoughts that come to mind. It shouldn't be like that. We should pray. We should be appreciating devotees more and more and more. Yeah. Okay? So, yes, Ruchi.
So I want to add one question to Prabhu question that over time we become familiar with the devotees, and with that familiarity comes ungratefulness. We take everything very easily, So how do we manage that familiarity while living in association with devotees? How do we live with them and not become too familiar to take them cheaply?
You have to read verses like this. You have to read a book called the Srimad Bhagavatam. You have to read about the glories of devotees. You have to hear about it every day. If you're doing good sadhana and you're reading about the devotees and how glorious they are, then you're not going to become familiar. You're going to become more appreciative of them. But if we're not doing good sadhana, if we're not reading Prabhupada's books, then there's a good chance we may become familiar. Like here, like this purple here is like this verse. So we read. If you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and here again we hear so many instructions from Prabhupada, how rare it is to get the association of devotees. So it will become hackneyed and styled, and will be a bit familiar if we're not reading about the glories of devotees. So that's one thing that comes to mind. We're constantly reading about the glories of devotees, Sadhana, Because intelligence is, we have to fine-tune our intelligence, so we have to constantly expose ourselves to Prabhupada's glorification of devotees, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. We don't want to become familiar with devotees, because one thing could lead to another. Familiarity breeds contempt. Contempt is offensive. Contempt. If you're contemptuous to towards devotees, that could lead to an offense, or it is an offensive. That mentality will breed like a cesspit. Sounds like a strong word. And all types will be finding fault with them, this, that, and we start to have a sour attitude, and offenses will start to come. And before we know it, Krishna will take us out. Okay. Perhaps if I take you out, the association of devotees, then you may appreciate it. But we don't want that type of treatment. We should. Okay? Some faults that come to mind. Okay. Stop there. Okay. Thank you for your kind attention. Gantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Nitya Gaura Premanandi Hari Bo. Hari Krishna.